When football began, it was a very weird game, very much unlike the one we know today. There was no forward passing, very little of any kind of passing, no goal nets, crossbars, and the modern penalty area only came along at the beginning of the 20th century. A lot of other YouTube videos have covered that sort of stuff before, so as usual on this channel I'm going to focus on the kits, more specifically the differences between the kits of old and the ones today. These days we prefer more complicated kits with subtle designs and sometimes totally random stuff. So which is better? Should we bring back the simple designs of many years ago? Let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning. Before the 1900s, kits were made out of spare mattress coverings. They were usually really simple designs like stripes at best, and most kits didn't even have badges. They were really heavy and the players wore basically trousers tucked into large wool socks. Sometimes the colours were totally random too. For example, Derby County's first ever kit was a bizarre light green and brown half-half design separated by a yellow stripe. Nowadays their kits are always predominantly white with black as a secondary colour. Manchester United, in their first incarnation as Newton Heath, wore a yellow and green half-half design, which they have tried to bring back in the form of away and third kits for nostalgia's sake, but has spectacularly failed every single time. Kits basically continued to be extremely simple, and badges grew in popularity through the years. In the late 1960s, the new American League, NASL, brought in a bunch of famous older players and also introduced a bunch of kits that could only be considered as absolutely crazy, like these. In 1976, Kettering Town began the new worldwide trend of shirt sponsors. In 1979, Liverpool followed suit with a sponsorship deal with Hitachi. These days, it's rare for clubs not to have shirt sponsors, a complete contrast to back then. In the 1980s, kits began getting a little more interesting, sometimes with original new graphics, like on the 1988 Netherlands kit. Then the 90s rolled around and it was total and utter bedlam. Goalkeeper jerseys were the main difference, with absolutely crazy designs, some of which appeared to have been made by a toddler. This era of kits was completely hit and miss, with some kits becoming all-time classics and others rightfully being moved to the dustbins of heck. Some of the most bizarre designs were these. If you begin to get dizzy looking at these abominations, feel free to skip for a few seconds. Yes, that is the standard of the 1990s, you don't get weirder than that. As we moved into the early 2000s, kits began coming simpler than before, while still maintaining a sense of originality. Notably, in 2005, to symbolise their last season at the famous Highbury Stadium, Arsenal's kit was a burgundy colour with white shorts, instead of their traditional red and white, as the first kit they ever wore was apparently that colour. Also, while we're on the subject of Arsenal, I found out this really cool feature of their latest kit, which marks the 20-year anniversary of their Invincibles season, in which they didn't lose a single game. On the side panels of the shirt, it has this text which has their full form from the season 20 years ago. It's just a bunch of D's and W's, but it's a pretty cool hidden feature nonetheless. In the late 2000s to early 2010s, kits stopped being extremely baggy and became more dynamic. The fact that shirts were now tighter meant that you could fit more subtle and intricate designs on kits. Still, it took a while before original graphics were used that often. And now we get to the modern day. These days, almost every single kit is completely original, with graphics that are inspired by literally anything and everything. You get kits like the Chelsea home kit from 23-24, inspired apparently by their kits from the 80s. You get ones like Dortmund's one from the same season, inspired by their stadium. And you get kits like Atletico Madrid's from 21-22, inspired apparently by a particularly traumatic part of the Spanish Civil War. The kit creators of today will get their ideas from literally anything and everything. Except for some reason, in total contrast to 30 years ago, goalkeeper kits. These days, every single brand's goalie kit is exactly the same, just different colours. Let me show you what I mean. Look, the Adidas kits from this season are literally all the same, just different colours. Same for Nike, Puma and all the other brands. Where's the originality? Goalie kits would sell for much more if they just went to the smallish trouble of using original designs. But nope, the kit suppliers are already too busy making a tribute kit for the recently deceased goldfish of a young fan, or something irrelevant like that. Okay, so now we get to the final part. Should we go back to our simple kits of old, or are these days original kits better? I personally believe that we should keep a healthy balance between the two. Some of today's kits are awesome in that they're nice to look at, are completely original, and also quite clearly well thought out. And then you have kits that appear to have been designed at the last minute by just using a random word generator and making a kit based on that. Also, we need to get goalie designs back, just saying. And as to the older kits, they're very simple, sometimes too much so, and also at a certain time period there was a notable overuse of buttons, which isn't something we need to bring back. But then they're also extremely iconic. If you looked at this kit, for example, you could tell pretty quickly that it was an Arsenal one, and these days you see kits like this and think, well, that could literally be anything. But I want to know what you guys think. Should we bring back the old and simple designs, or should we keep going as we are? Put in the comments what you think, and while you're there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want, follow me on FIFAKitCreator.com, where I design concept football kits. I also have a new Discord server where I host regular kit design competitions. Also, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Oh yeah, I know you guys were probably expecting to see a video where I design concept kits again, and while this is different, I hope you enjoyed it.